You know what's crazy? Some people never say a word, and everyone still respects them. No arguing, no explaining, no proving anything. They just stand there, and the whole room treats them different. Want to know why? It's not what you think. I used to believe respect came from talking. Speaking up, defending myself, saying the smart thing at the right time. I was wrong. Completely wrong. The more I talked to prove myself, the less people actually respected me. Weird, right? So I studied this for years. On myself, on friends, even on strangers. And I found 7 specific things silent, respected people do that loud people never even notice. Today I'm showing you all 7. From the smallest one, all the way to the most powerful one. But here's the thing. Do not leave before number 7. That one isn't even a habit. It's a switch. Once you flip it, people sense something different about you before you even say hello. Most people never make it that far because it sounds too small to matter. That one mistake alone costs them years of being overlooked. Let's start with number 1, the one that's already costing you respect right now, without you even knowing it. Number 1, stillness over movement. Nobody warns you that your hands are talking behind your back. While your mouth says one thing, your fingers are tapping the table, your leg is bouncing, your eyes are darting around the room. And everyone in that room is reading it, even if they couldn't explain what they saw. Most people think constant motion makes them look energetic, engaged, alive. That is exactly wrong. Fidgeting doesn't read as energy. It reads as anxiety. Every tap, every shift, every nervous adjustment leaks the same signal. This person is not comfortable right now. Here's why. Your body releases cortisol under stress, and cortisol doesn't stay quiet. It shows up in tiny movements you don't even notice yourself making. Other people's brains pick up on that leakage instantly, without consciously deciding to. It's not a mystery. It's not intuition. It's just pattern recognition running in the background of every conversation you have. Respected people do the opposite. They let their hands rest. They let a pause sit there instead of filling it with movement. Not frozen, not stiff, just still. Picture 2 people in the same meeting getting bad news. One starts clicking their pen, shifting in their seat, glancing at the door. The other just sits there, hands still, taking it in. You already know which one the room trusts more with the next decision. Stillness is not the absence of energy. It's proof you have nothing to hide. But here's the question nobody thinks to ask. What happens once your body is calm and someone actually looks you in the eye? That's exactly what habit 2 is built for. Number 2, the 3-second hold. Have you ever noticed how fast people look away when eye contact starts to feel real? Half a second in, and suddenly the floor, the phone, the wall becomes fascinating. Nobody teaches you this happens. It just does, automatically, like flinching from something hot. Most people treat eye contact like something to survive, not something to use. They glance, they nod, they escape. And every time they look away first, they hand a tiny piece of the room's attention to whoever didn't flinch. Here's the part that actually explains it. Sustained eye contact triggers a small release of oxytocin, the same chemical your brain produces when you feel safe with someone. That is not a soft skill, that is chemistry. When you hold someone's gaze at the right length, their brain quietly files you under safe and trustworthy before either of you says another word. The trick is the length, not a stare that reads as aggressive or strange fast. 3 seconds, a natural break, then back. Comfortable, not performed. Think about the last interview, first date, or tense conversation where you looked away first. Now think about the one time you didn't. Different feeling entirely. Confidence isn't loud. Sometimes it's just 3 seconds you didn't rush. This habit was about what you let people see. The next one is about what you refuse to give away, and it's twice as powerful. Number 3, the pause before you react. There are 2 types of people the moment something goes wrong. Someone gets bad news, an insult, a piece of criticism that stings. Type 1 reacts instantly. Face drops, voice rises, words come out before the brain has even finished processing what happened. Type 2 does something almost nobody trains themselves to do. They pause, just for a second or two. And in that pause, they get respected in a way type 1 never will. Daniel Goleman calls what happens to type 1 an amygdala hijack. Your amygdala, the part of your brain wired for threat detection, takes over before your prefrontal cortex, the rational part, gets a chance to weigh in. That's why people say things in anger they regret 5 minutes later. It's not weakness. It's just biology running ahead of judgment. The pause interrupts that hijack. 2 seconds of silence before responding gives your prefrontal cortex time to catch up, and it shows. People can feel the difference between a reaction and a response, even if they can't name why. Imagine someone getting blindsided by criticism in a meeting. One person snaps back immediately. The other takes a breath, waits, then responds calmly. Only one of them looks like they're actually in control of the room. The pause is not hesitation. It's the loudest thing you can do without saying anything. What I'm about to show you next is going to feel wrong at first, because it goes against everything you've been taught about being helpful. But it's the one that changes everything. Number 4, strategic silence. The silence mistake costs people more respect than almost anything else on this list. Not because staying quiet is hard, because most people can't stand it, and they fill it the second it shows up. Someone asks a question, and before 3 seconds pass, somebody's already answering, adding, clarifying, filling space that didn't need filling. Watch any group conversation and you'll see it. The person talking the most is usually the one people remember the least. Robert Cialdini's research on scarcity explains exactly why. Anything abundant loses value. Words are no different. When you speak constantly, your words become background noise, easy to tune out, easy to forget. When you speak rarely, and only when it matters, every sentence gets weighted differently. People lean in, because they've learned your words don't come cheap. Respected people let silence sit. They don't rush to fill a pause in conversation. They let other people talk first, and they only add something when it genuinely moves things forward. Think of a meeting where one person talks the entire time, and another says 3 sentences the whole hour. Guess whose 3 sentences everyone remembers walking out? If stillness changed how people saw your body, and eye contact changed how people felt around you, silence changes something bigger. It changes whether people hear you at all. Those are very different things, and the next habit builds directly on top of it. Number 5. Owning physical space. Researchers studying nonverbal status signals found something that shocked a lot of people who assumed height and size explained everything. It doesn't. How much space someone takes up, regardless of how big they actually are, predicts how much status other people assign them within seconds. Most people shrink. Crossed arms, hunched shoulders, small steps, sitting at the edge of a chair like they're trying to disappear from their own meeting. It feels safe. It reads as small. Respected people take up their space without announcing it. Arms uncrossed, shoulders relaxed but open, feet planted instead of tucked away. Not spread out aggressively, just present, like they belong exactly where they're standing. This sounds completely backwards if you were taught to make yourself smaller to be polite. And it's completely wrong. Here's what actually happens when you shrink. People's brains read it as low confidence before you've said a single word, and they adjust how seriously they take you accordingly, without even realizing they're doing it. Picture someone walking into a room and immediately folding into the smallest chair, arms crossed. Now picture someone sitting back, relaxed, taking up the space they were given. Same room, same words, completely different reception. Everything we've covered so far works on the surface, in the room, in the moment. But the next habit works somewhere deeper. It works on how people feel about you when you're not even there. Number 6, the unreadable face. Think about the last time you were nervous in a conversation and completely sure your face was giving nothing away. Now think about how obvious it actually was to everyone else in the room. That gap is bigger than almost anyone realizes. Psychologists call this the spotlight effect. It's the tendency to believe other people are noticing and judging your every expression far more than they actually are, while completely underestimating how much your face genuinely leaks when you're not managing it. Most people either overthink every twitch or assume nobody's watching at all. Both are wrong in different directions. Respected people aren't expressionless. They're just not reactive. Their face doesn't broadcast every internal shift the second it happens. Bad news lands, and their expression stays level for a beat before they choose how to respond, instead of the response happening automatically on their face first. Picture 2 coworkers hearing the same criticism in a meeting. One winces visibly, jaw tightens, eyes drop. The other's face barely shifts, and somehow that person looks like they already knew how to handle it. An unreadable face isn't hiding something. It's proof nothing has control over you yet. Here's the question nobody asks, though. What happens when a still body, steady eyes, patient silence, and a calm face all show up in the same person at the same time? Number 7. Respecting yourself first. Here's what nobody tells you about the first 6 habits. None of them were ever really about your body, your eyes, or your face. They were symptoms. This last one is the actual cause, the thing underneath all of it. Most people spend years managing their posture, their eye contact, their silence, trying to perform confidence from the outside in. Respected people did something different first. They stopped needing anyone's approval before they started applying any of it. The Dunning-Kruger effect gets misused a lot, but the real version says something useful here. People with the least actual competence are often the loudest about proving it, because insecurity needs external validation to feel real. Confidence that's actually earned doesn't need an audience. It doesn't perform. It just exists, quietly, and other people can feel the difference between the two instantly. There are two types of people in every room. One is performing respect, hoping someone notices. The other already respects themselves and isn't waiting on anyone's reaction to confirm it. That's the real difference between the 6 habits looking like tricks and the 6 habits looking like you. This is not about what you do anymore. It's about who you've quietly become underneath all of it, whether or not anyone's watching. These 7 things were never meant to stay habits you think about. Do them long enough, and they stop being things you practice. They become who you are, the same way a person who's naturally calm doesn't remember deciding to be calm one day. Don't try all 7 this week. Pick the one that felt hardest to read just now. That discomfort is not random. That's the one you've been avoiding, and that's exactly where you start. Comment which one you're already doing without realizing it, and which one hit different reading this. I read every single one, and I want to know what actually landed. Subscribe because every week I break down the exact psychology that separates people who command respect from people who spend their whole life wondering why they keep getting overlooked. No generic advice. No motivational fluff. Just the specific habits nobody else will teach you.